evening, ladies and gentlemen. You are tuned in to the Conversation Corner here with your host, the author, Andrew Snorton. Of course, we are here on the Status Network, the Lyve TV channel. And as we do every second and fourth Wednesday about this time, we've actually got three great guests doing some awesome things across entertainment, business, community, and more. Before we get to our first guest, we just have a couple of real quick station reminders and ways you can stay connected with me. So first off, with the Status Network, please understand that it's not just this channel. There are multiple television channels, a radio station, and more. If you or someone you know is looking for a home for their podcast, their broadcast, their pop-up event, special event, concert, you name it, we do it here. So make sure to stay connected with us here at the network to find out more about how we can help you make it happen. Speaking of making it happen, since January of 2020, that's right, a year and a half, we have provided Status Films where everybody grows, especially independents. So if you or someone you know does short film, documentary, long film, you have the benefit of platforms like Roku, Amazon Fire Stick, and more. So make sure to get connected with us today and get your film the exposure that it needs. And of course, you want to stay connected with me. Of course you do. That's right. It's good for you. And the best ways to stay connected with me on Facebook is going to be the page Author Andrew Snorton, Instagram, Twitter, and YouTube at Author A Snorton. If you want an autographed copy, which you should, of any of the books, things along those lines, hit me up at authorasnorton@gmail.com. Remember, 3 books to date: Deeper Than Your Deepest Sleep, Thoughts in Love with Joseph Snorton, for you and the poetry lovers in the building. 9 Stories of Faith, Volume 1, for those that need stories of motivation, encouragement, and inspiration. Nothing Minor, which captures minor league baseball, including a great section on the Negro Southern Leagues Museum. And of course, the freestyle audiobook series, The Author's Mixtape. Make sure to download those from your favorite platforms, especially Volume 4, the collab featuring Chris 10. So there you have it for ways to stay connected with yours truly. And now let's get into our first guest. I tell you what, as an author and being able to connect with fellow authors, it is just a joy when you get a chance, when they say where 2 or more are gathered or like minds come together. And I tell you what, this young lady, and of course the reason why I say young lady, why do you think I'm still here above ground, ladies and gentlemen? I tell you what, based out of the great state of Mississippi, LaDonna Marie, I tell you what, if you have not connected with her, you definitely need to connect with her today. So when our production team is ready, we're going to bring in Ms. LaDonna Marie on set. So let's see if we can go ahead and make that happen. Okay, it's just taking a moment. Okay, so I think LaDonna, we need to make sure that you've got your mic on and things along those lines, so we can get you punched in.
Hey, I'm in.
Okay, we got you. There we have it. See, you know what? You did it like those old school Heinz ketchup commercials. Just gave us a little bit of anticipation to make us wait. LaDonna, how are you doing this evening?
I am doing well. I am thankful for this opportunity to be here with you tonight.
Well, I tell you what, it is just a lot of respect for the work that you've done, the work you are doing, and the work you are going to do. Before we get into all of your moving parts, walk through with our viewers a little bit about where you're based out of and kind of describe what would you say was that moment of clarity or that pivotal moment where it's like, you know what, I really need to take my talents and put them in these spaces and places.
Well, I am from the great state of Mississippi, born and raised. I started writing, at the age of 14. And so all of my life, I've loved to encourage and empower and impact the lives of other people, helping them to heal. And so what started with me is I was that 14-year-old who needed to heal and felt misunderstood, through the situations that I was going through as a teenage girl. And so I had an encounter with the Lord, and he said that as he healed me, the words that he would give me to write would help me to heal others. And from that moment on, I knew that this was something that I was going to do for the rest of my life to help to impact other people around the world.
And I'm glad you shared that because, It's the proverbial, we see you where you are, but we don't know what you've been led through in order to get here. But even bigger than that, as you were led through, there's an adage, build as we climb. And when you said that piece about to reach back and help others, walk through with us some of the ways that you're able to not only share your story, but provide voice for others who need their stories told.
So that's a very important thing, because I feel like oftentimes I would say that I am the voice for the voiceless, for those who would like to stay hidden, who don't want to share their stories, because when you're talking about overcoming obstacles, some of us would just want them to, just push them under the rug and keep moving. But I attempted to commit suicide at the age of 14. And so when I survived and when God gave me a second chance at life, I knew what the true meaning was of having another chance to be able to do it over, having another chance to be able to speak for myself and to follow the dreams that I had in my heart. And so with others, I've been writing, like I said, since the age of 14. Now to date, I have 12 books. I also have a nonprofit that was birthed out of encouraging each other just as fast as you are doing, called Planting Positive Seeds. So I do conferences and also retreats for women and girls. I've traveled as a speaker, internationally, globally, locally, in the community and out of the community. And so I'm very hands-on. We met at book festivals. So going out there to be able to meet the people, the readers and different people that I would see, not see where I am, but when I get a chance to float and move and go around. And so I also have a podcast called Planting Positive Seeds. It's Inspirational Talks with LaDonna Marie. And so there I bring guests on there to share their triumphs, to share something that they overcame, because I really want the message to be clear that we can overcome the things that we go through. And just like I did, I want them to know that they can do it too. So those are a couple of the ways. But with these 12 books, and I've co-authored probably like 15 more, I just want to leave a legacy to encourage and empower people everywhere.
And I'm glad you said that, because part of this journey is, like you said, not only seed planting, but you've heard this term, leaving a positive footprint. Talk with us a little bit. And like you said before, it sounds like from being led through always writing, now you're taking that writing gift and talent through the number of books that you've done, but then you said you've taken it further with being able to speak near or far and going where you're called. Walk through with our viewers your perspective on the importance of hearing the call and heeding the call, because sometimes we hear something, and I know every once in a while, like it's like when that alarm goes off, I'll be honest, every once in a while I might hit that snooze, roll over, get a little bit more sleep. But walk through with us the importance of not only hearing the call, but heeding the call.
So the importance to me for hearing the call, because I'm telling you, it was crystal clear for me at the age of 14, when I heard him, when he said that as I heal you, you would help me to heal others. And so it's just like I immediately built that relationship to stay in a place that I could hear, and that I really can have the pen of a ready writer. And so I took it to be an honor that God would, place on my life as he, helped me to overcome my obstacles, that I could help other people. And so as I heard that, I just began to obey. Every poem that I wrote, it went from poetry, I started, then it went to children's books and different things. But as I began to hear it, I began to share it. And when I shared it with others, they would always say to me, this sounds like something I'm going through. This sounds like my life. And so that was the thing that I knew, that I was being obedient to what I heard and obedient to the call, because every person, when they received it, I felt like they were waiting on me. They were waiting on that book to be published. They were waiting on that poem or that children's book to be written, so that they could get the encouragement that they needed. And so writing has taken me all the way to, I've been to Kenya, Africa. It's taken me to London. My name and my books have won in Paris and different places. And so to me, it all mattered that I just impact those lives, and that those people who are waiting on those books, that they would actually get them and be able to overcome the obstacles that they're going through.
And I'm gonna share something with you. I'm glad you talked about the theme of there's someone who is waiting to hear from you. Now, you must have been eavesdropping on some conversations, early and late night conversations I've had this week. I know I'm telling on myself a little bit, but I'm like so serious, because it's true. Like in finding your voice and helping other people find their voice, it's one of those where there's people that you're able to reach that I might not be able to, and vice versa. Yeah. But it's where somebody needs to hear it from you. If you could you expand upon that theme a little bit more? Because there's some people who are like, well, I'm not this, or I haven't gotten this, I've only gotten this much done, or I don't dot my I's and cross my T's and all that type of thing. But please speak to that theme, because I know there's somebody out there that thinks nobody's worried about me, but somebody needs to hear from you.
Right. I would say I learned very early on that I was not only a vessel that was going through a situation, but as I began to overcome it, the victory that I had, was there for me to go back and help someone else, because it was signature to my life. A lot of us can go through different things, and we handle it differently. And so each one of us, that's just to know that we were individually, fearfully, and wonderfully made. And so the people who are assigned to my life for the books that God has given me to write about healing and overcoming their obstacles and learning how to continue to move forward, those individuals are there. It's like a voice activated world. So once they hear the words from my journey, from my story, then my life is able to to ignite them, to birth something within them, and to help them to get to where they need to be in life. And so those people that are waiting on us, we are the ones that once we tell our stories and once we write the books, that it helps them to come through their journey and to make it to the destination not only that we were supposed to be at, but they are supposed to be at as well.
Awesome. And I'm so glad you broke that down, because again, that's something that people needed to hear. Now, pivoting and wearing the writer's hat, all of us have said the most important thing is getting started. Let me ask you this question. When you look at the work that you have done thus far, I know that all the works are special, important, and meaningful, but you know how, like, for example, you have that album, but there's that one song you always hit repeat? Is there a certain book or maybe a certain theme or a certain passage from what you've done that is kind of like that repeat button for you?
So I would say that that's actually the second book that I ever written, and which was Until Tomorrow Come. That book just turned my life, into a whole new just path. Because I want to tell you, I was so obedient to write down everything that was downloaded to me, in the way that the book was written and the delivery of the book. I fully trusted what the Lord wanted me to do with that book. And it just came out. That book has about 59 reviews on Amazon. It's like the people were waiting on the positivity in the poems. And it was the first book that I won an international award in Paris. But for me, it was the obedience of me writing the book exactly how the Lord had laid it out to me, because I wanted to write something else. But when I came to myself and I said, I'm going to be obedient to the journey that you have placed me on, which was to help people to travel on a journey of positive growth and awareness. And when I broke the book down in 5 different parts, helping them to come from a part of being confused to a part of being lost, then coming to a place where they've arrived at self-awareness and self-worth, I think that was just like the the book that just, set the trajectory of my writing. So if there's anyone who ever wants to just start reading a LaDonna Marie book, I would always give them that book to start. The rest of the books, I love them because I take the time to hear and to write each one of them. They're all special to me. But if anyone, when they ever ask me, how can we, where do we start? I always will tell them to go to Until Tomorrow Come, because that was a true act of obedience and being led into now who you know as international multi-award winning author LaDonna Marie.
And thank you for really, again, this, see, y'all, don't you love these literary minds? Like, I'm so serious. It's the creativity, the energy, the synergy, but even still part of the journey. And you can definitely speak to this. Sometimes, really, when you think about it, the journey isn't necessarily our own. It's where we're placed, where we're positioned, and we're there for a reason. It always isn't clear, but we're there for a reason. Talk to us in regards to that. We've talked about themes of identity and purpose. Talk to us a little bit about some of the work that's going on with your nonprofit, as well as some of the things that are coming up where people are able to connect, engage, interact, and also just lend support and encouragement to you.
Thank you so much. Planting Positive Seeds was established in 2013 to help, women and girls. But I've never turned a person away. I want to empower and encourage other people. The foundational scripture for the nonprofit is 1 Thessalonians 5:11, which is encourage each other just as fast as you're doing. And so, to date, I've had about 4 conferences and I've had a retreat for the young girls, just pouring into them, helping to increase their emotional wellness. My initiatives are, we have the community and global outreach. I've done some outreaches over in Kenya, and there's some other countries that are coming up. I've helped locally at the nursing home in my town. I've already had the first retreat in 2019 for the young girls, which was helping them to maximize their inner strength. We have a new initiative called the Resilient Queens Mentoring for the teen girls and for the women. We have another component, a suicide awareness and prevention, because I am a survivor and I want to help others out there in the world. And then we have an annual conference every November. And so coming up next for the nonprofit, actually on August the 27th, we're doing an encouragement summit, a girls' night in, and it's going to be a free virtual conference for the young ladies to come in and get poured into. The last book that I wrote was called Things I Wish I Knew, Letters to My Little Sisters. And I kept saying all last year that I wanted to do something. We were going through COVID and I really could not get a grasp on what I wanted to do, because I was so used to having people come in and sit down and we kind of exchange. And so this year, I'm just going to move into it. We're going to do the Empowerment Summit. That's coming up. And we also, people can sponsor the girls. We have different things for them. We have books and different supplies that we go through in the mentoring, which is like the Maximizing Your Inner Strength workbook that I use. Planting Positive Seeds has different things on SB. So all of the t-shirts and cups and different things, they help to pour into our community, global and local outreaches, because we want to let them know that we care. We want to provide. And also Planet Positive Seed has a scholarship fund. Last year we raised $1,000. The first time we wanted to give out 2 $500 scholarships to 2 graduating girls, seniors from high school. And so I'm so happy that we get a chance to give back. And so I'm very thankful. If anyone wants to connect, I have a website called plantingpositiveseeds.com. We are also on Amazon Smile. You can look up Planting Positive Seeds, and if you want to select that as a charity that you can give to, they don't take anything from your purchase, but if you select that charity, Amazon will give to the charity. We are also coming up, I'm going to be on, as far as taking off the hat of a nonprofit CEO, going back to author. On August the 2nd, I will be on a television show out of Atlanta with Patricia Edie. We're doing bedtime stories with Pat, and so I'll be bringing my children's book, Larry the Alligator Makes Friends. I talked about the summit. I'm also doing a pop-up. We have some pop-up book signings. Then you show one of the pictures of me. I love engaging with people. That's how we met at the festivals. I always like talking to the young girls and talking to the people who come to the table, because I want to find the book that's right for them, that they need for whatever they're going through in their life. And also, so that'll be on the 17th. So that'll be on a Sunday on the 17th. But if you want to order a book and you're not in the Jackson area, in Jackson, Mississippi, you can always go over to my website. And the last thing that I have coming up for this month, I'll be on Author Push. It's an Author Push showcase. It'll be on Facebook. I'll be airing it on my page. And the lady, she's going to be talking again about my children's book. So, we're doing the summer reading plans for the children who are at home and who want things to read. And Larry the Alligator helps them with assertiveness, perseverance, helping them to learn how to make good friends. And so I'm very excited that these are just the things that I have going on from July to August. But everything else, I'll make sure that I keep it updated on my website, which is www.ladonnamarie.org, so that people can know what I'm doing next.
Well, I tell you what, you are, as they say, wearing multiple hats. You are definitely walking in your purpose in all these different moving parts. So before we go to our commercial break, please remind our viewers again the best ways to stay connected, engaged, and supportive of the work you're doing.
Thank you so much again for this opportunity. Well, you can connect with me on my website, which again is www.ladonnamarie.org. I am on Facebook. I have a public figure page, LaDonna Marie. LaDonna Marie Books is my business page on Facebook. You can connect there. I always send updates on there. If you're on Instagram, you can find me at I am LaDonna Marie _. I'm on Twitter under LMB_poetry. And so if you go to my website, you can find links to any other page that I am on. And so once again, I'm so thankful to be able to have this opportunity to speak and to share.
Well, I tell you what, thank you so much for taking time out of your schedule. Go ahead and catch your breath for a minute there. But thank you for all that you're doing. What we're going to do, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to go to our first commercial break. And we come back, we've got some folks out the QC, that means Charlotte, North Carolina, talking about the technology work they're doing. So let's go ahead and go to that first commercial break.
Make plans July 24th to join Enigma Events for Groovin' on the Green. It takes place at the Lithonia Amphitheater, and if you got tickets for the original June date, your tickets will be honored. So make sure to check out the original Lakeside, Big Pokey Bear, Sierra Potts Wright, Mike Jones and Friends, and more. Groovin' on the Green at Lithonia Amphitheater. Make sure to check out Art in the Park at the Promenade venue at Piedmont Park. Hosted by She Makes Moves Enterprises and Culture Design Incorporated. Vendor slots are all sold out. We're expecting about 1,500 people for live music, performances, and more. So get your tickets and make sure to be there July 25th. Make sure to check me out for Black Riders Workspace, as I will be one of the featured exhibitors for their virtual event on July 30th, and the information provided. And make sure to register for the symposium on July 31st, as I'll be one of the authors speaking for this great event. So make sure to check it out. New merch. Check out the Author Ace Norton Origin Series. To see where I got here, you got to know where it started. So shouts to Townley Drive. And don't forget about getting the other merch. Bracelets, mugs for your coffee or tea, and more. So make sure to connect with me at the info provided.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is the author, Andrew Snorton. If you see the website listed in the upper left-hand corner, it's actually the same website that is listed in the bio for my Instagram, Author A. Snorton. And what you can do is when you go here, you can see information on the conversation corner, the emails you may use for interview requests, things along those lines. And you can see everything from my press and media kit to some of the interviews I've been able to do. And actually, if you click on the images, with a couple of exceptions, I still have to track down the links, it'll take you to the actual website or video or things of that nature. I hate that my laptop is not cooperating, and then it just went super fast. But anyway, this gives you an idea of some of the outlets I've been blessed to talk with. So thank you so much for your support. Make sure to connect with me. Look forward to seeing you soon. Again, thank you so much for supporting me. And we will see you later. Bye-bye. And ladies and gentlemen, we are back with our second guest, and like we said, hailing from Charlotte, North Carolina, the 704, Mecklenburg County. See, I know my geography, ladies and gentlemen. We have got right here, and I tell you what, some people are so great, you gotta let them introduce themselves. So, to my fraternal brother up in here, let people know who you are and your business.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Brother Snorton. So I'm Aubrey Aboa, actually born and raised in D.C., but went down to North Carolina to start our technology company. So thank you for the introduction.
Well, and you left a little bit out because you've got some ties to the Triad. So before you landed in the QC, for people that don't know, that's Queen City, Charlotte, North Carolina, and you started off in the DMV. Let people know a little bit about one of your stops before you got to Charlotte.
Yeah, so I had the opportunity to study undergrad at Winston-Salem State University. So where Chris Paul is from, we actually met when he came to our campus back in 2010, I believe. So I got a chance to meet with him too. So yeah, I love Winston-Salem. I love North Carolina. Being down there just opened my eyes to the hospitality that is North Carolina. You know what I mean?
Exactly. And and shouts to CP3 for really representing the city. He was on our campus for a couple of years. I know he's finishing up at Winston-Salem State, but yeah, that's a whole nother story. He definitely is Winston-Salem true and through. So walk through with us, before you did your company launch, what would you say was that moment where you pivoted or really felt that I need to take my talents twofold, not only in technology, but business?
Yeah, so for me, a little bit about me. My family's actually from Ghana, so West Africa. So growing up, I saw the struggles that they faced being a first-generation American. I saw the jobs that they had to undertake and just to take care of my brother and I. So just seeing them struggle, I knew there had to be another way to provide for my family, both here and in West Africa. So that was always in my mind. How do I figure this out? How do I become, a Jeff Bezos or Steve Jobs? These individuals who have used their mind to create generational wealth. I thought I could do the same thing because, we're all of the human race. So there's no one who could be, superior or these type of things. So for me, I always had that inclination of figuring out how to become an entrepreneur, how to start something in the technology space. And then the exposure that I received growing up from mentors and individuals in these different spaces pushed me into becoming an entrepreneur.
And I'm glad you walked through that because everyone has that motivation. And like you said, part of it was just not only your life experience, but seeing examples where it could be done. So here you are with battery exchange, to make sure I've got correct. And I even see, the shouts to the homeland, the red, black, and green. We see, look at here, this is like Black History 365 days of Europe in this piece. Walk through with us, thematically speaking, the concept behind battery exchange.
Yeah, so just to give you a little bit of background, so after graduating from Winston, I came back to DC. I worked, various jobs with the government, with nonprofit. I even worked with BET doing some marketing stuff with them. But that wasn't fulfilling. You know what I mean? It was paying the bills. It got me through, month to month, but there wasn't going to be anything that was going to be sustainable for my kids and their kids. You know what I mean? So an opportunity to study abroad in China came about when my co-founder, he actually was out there doing his MBA. And I asked him, bro, how did you get out to China? He gave me the information. I applied to the MBA program. I was one of the last students admitted into the program, and I studied in China for 2 years. So while I was there, I got exposed to the technology that was being developed there, made a lot of different friends in the manufacturing space that were doing a lot of technology and innovation. And that's where we created Battery Exchange. So yeah, that's our kiosk machine where we dispense portable batteries that come out of the kiosk for people to rent while they're on the go. So if you think about it, it's like the bird scooters in our communities, the rental bikes. But in this case, it's a portable battery which charges your cell phone, your AirPods, your speakers. You literally just take out one of the charging cables and then you just stick it in your phone like so, and then you're able to charge your phone. You know what I mean? So if you're ever in an inconvenience and you know you're running low, you just download the Battery Exchange mobile app. You'll find a nearby kiosk using the app, and you'll be able to locate the nearest kiosk in your community to stay connected to your friends and loved ones.
And I'm glad you walked through that, because sometimes, and I'll admit, and it's not because of old age, hold off on the jokes, no joking, but you know how like you'll charge, and I know some of us have our pocket batteries, but we sometimes forget. And you make an interesting point. Every once in a while, you know, that battery, like it's holding on for dear life, like that 1%, and you're trying not to move too quickly before it goes out. So you've got a concept, number in no particular order: convenience, safety, and like you said, you know, when adversity strikes, here's something that you're able to take advantage of to keep you going until you get to where you can plug in or what have you. So were those some of the thoughts behind going in this particular technology lane?
Yeah, because like I said, being in China for 2 years, we did a lot of traveling to Beijing, Shanghai, Hong Kong, and you're always on your phone, you know, either to translate to different people, to search to, you know, find the nearest location or the nearest train, and all of these different things, you know, listening to music, of course, and your phone is literally going down, you know what I mean? So we came into an inconvenience where our phone died, literally, and we were scrambling, going to bar, asking random, either the bartender, random people in the bar, at the restaurant, hey, do you have a charger? And they didn't understand what we're saying. We're trying to show them like, hey, we need to charge our phone, it's dead. They're like, you know, just confused. So it dawned on us like, how many other people are going through this? You know, how can we be a safety net for people who are traveling or even in their own community and they can't be connected to their family and friends or to the world around them, and that fear, that anxiety that comes about. So that's when we realized that we could create something like Battery Exchange where individuals can stay connected, enjoy their evening, enjoy their time out, and not have to have that feeling of, I have to rush home, I have to ask random people for a charger. So that was the idea and the solution we wanted to come up with.
Well, it really sounds like you and your entire partnership team, ownership team, really are solutions oriented, which is great. Yeah. Like, we know sometimes you do something as a bridge, but you're like, let's see what we can do to go ahead and cross that bridge. Speaking of crossing bridges, we know that you're based in Charlotte. Can you walk through with our viewers some of the places where you are located? And if you can, where are places that you see yourselves rolling out to? And to my point, it's where not only just bigger cities, but you think about some of these smaller, quote, more isolated areas where, you know, if you are on like -1, -0, you're going to be in trouble. So walk through with that with our viewers, please.
Yeah, so currently, when we first came back to the States, of course, we wanted to go everywhere. We saw ourselves in the convention center space. We saw ourselves at arenas, you know, university campuses, but we knew that we were small, you know what I mean? So a lot of things that we had to do as far as raising capital, building a team, developing the mobile application, and then finding the right manufacturers abroad to help us build out what we're looking to do with Battery Exchange. So there was a lot of business development that had to happen before we could actually go into the spaces that we saw ourselves in. Then COVID hit, you know what I mean? Being that we're an event space business where we require people to be there, dwelling, using their devices, and then boom, no one's out anymore. Everybody's at home and working from home, working virtually. So we were struggling, trying to figure out what our pivot was going to be. But we realized that bars and restaurants were still in the mix of, you know, serving people, delivering food in these different aspects. So we saw ourselves either partnering with different bars and restaurants or reaching out to these hospitality and tourism groups that were still navigating through the COVID storm. And that's what we were able to do. We were able to partner with about 10 bars in Charlotte, North Carolina. They have our kiosk there now, and people are actually using it, going about their day. Now that COVID has lifted, people are spending more time out, enjoying the summer. And it's been great. I think COVID was a storm that we were all scared about, but we were able to navigate with, just persistence and consistency.
And I'm glad you walked through that because, COVID has been an interesting time. It really has been. But you were able to put your talents and creativity to work and ask yourself, based on what's available or what's accessible, where can we start? And I'll admit, I'll tell myself a little bit. You go to a place where libations are sold and you realize, okay, your phone is low, you're nowhere near your battery, you don't want to go out to your ride, and they only have so many plugs there, and you're like kind of looking stuck on silly. So thank you for looking out for us silly looking people when we happen not to have all our stuff together. So thank you kindly.
And who wants to carry that all the time? That big bulky battery, you know what I mean? And being stuck. Like if you want to be mobile, you can't be with your phone being charged or tethered into the wall outlet. So with our device, you can literally move around, go to a different city, drop it off at another location, and be free from the device. You know what I mean? So that's the convenience part that we're looking to build out and educate people on. It's literally like the scooter. You pick up a scooter, you get to your destination, you're no longer involved with it. You just sign out of the app and you go about your days. Battery exchange is the same way.
I tell you what, that's amazing. So like you said, you're in Charlotte right now. Where are some other, whether it's big city, small city, now that things are kind of gradually turning, there's obviously, there's still a little bit of work to do, but where are other cities that you feel like you're going to be able? Oh, he froze. Oh, there you are. You unfroze. Okay. See, us alphas taking that frozen stuff a little bit too seriously.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, we got you. So let me repeat the question. You guys, like you said, you're leaving a footprint in Charlotte. Where are some other cities, whether big cities, small cities, that you see yourselves leaving a similar footprint?
Man, we see ourselves everywhere. So we're looking at Atlanta. We're looking at DC, of course, the Triad area, High Point University, Greensboro, Winston-Salem. There's some Black-owned businesses that are there, other businesses that we see ourselves being a part of. We're looking at going upstate to New York, Boston. So primarily wherever there's a team, a basketball team or a football team, we want our product to be in those certain cities. So high populated areas, long dwell times, airports, like I mentioned, university campuses, hospitals. We see our product being of use there.
Wow, that is impressive and amazing. So yeah, come on to Atlanta. Yes, absolutely. We're waiting for you. And going back, up the road on I don't know which way you take, 85 to 52 or 77.
85, yeah.
85 to 52, yeah, we already know. So, yeah, definitely. So here you are. You've got your system in place. You guys are effective with your problem solving and what have you. You've already kind of outlined a lot of the areas, like you said. You named a lot of spots on the East Coast and what have you. But where, and I know you said everywhere, but where do you see yourselves going? Do you see this as something national? Do you look international? Is it learning to crawl before you learn to walk? Or is it we're already walking, let's start jogging and then gradually sprinting? Like, what would you say is really, quote, the philosophy that you're really...
I think for where we are now, we're walking. We're figuring out this bar and restaurant space, seeing how people react to our product, getting traction, getting these data points so that we can articulate to investors, hey, this product does X, Y, and Z to these businesses or to our end users. You know what I mean? So another thing that we're also building out is an advertising platform through our product. So as you can see, there's a logo here. So if we partnered with Coca-Cola or one of these bigger entities, Amazon, they can put their logo on our battery, and that can give us exposure. We also have digital screens on our kiosk machines that third-party advertisers can rent ad space from our kiosk and build their brand through our platform. You know what I mean? As you can see here. So a lot of things that are in the mix right now. So we're walking right now. We're learning this bar and restaurant space, learning how to operate with different owners and general managers in this space, so that when we do go to these bigger entities, we have learned from these experiences. So our next goal is to partner with the university space, the HBCU community. We're already in the talks with our alma mater, Winston-Salem State, to get our kiosk on campus right before homecoming. So all these different things are in the mix, man. We trying to figure it out.
So in other words, I'm just going to speak into existence, like October 22nd, 23rd, y'all going to be up and running. And who knows, maybe the following weekend, we'll just put it out there, I don't know, there's someone you might know that's doing a book signing. Hey, might just have to do a pop-up. Hey, let's make it happen. So,
let's make it happen.
Hey, for real. We do this type of thing. So let me ask you this question. Before we wind down your segment and before you share your info, when you think about looking back where you started to where you are now and where you're trying to go, what would be one piece of wisdom or insight that you'd want our viewers to really take root of? So if they don't remember anything else about what you're doing business size, what's one takeaway that you'd like our viewers to have?
Legacy. Build that legacy. I think for us, it's always important that you think not for the now, but for the future, because we're only here for an instant, but there are going to be people who come after you that's going to remember the name that you've created for yourself. So that's one thing I will want the people to know. We are legacy driven. We all have families that are counting on us right now. I've literally quit my job to literally push this forward. My team has literally quit their jobs so that this can become a household name like Amazon, like Apple, because we are providing the convenience, we are providing value to businesses, and we are providing a safety net to communities. So those are the things that we're looking to do. And I want to inspire others to also think about leaving a legacy behind. Whatever facet of area you're in, leave a mark, leave a legacy. So that's my last touch on that.
Well, I tell you what, thank you so much for doing that. And before we go to commercial break, please remind viewers the best ways to stay informed, engaged, and connected with the work that you all are doing.
Yeah, the first and foremost, you can come to our website, www.battery.change.co. And then you can find us on LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram under the same name. It's all on our website too. So you click around, you'll find how to reach us. Our email is on there as well. If you guys want to find out more about our company, learn more about our team, it's all on the website.
Well, I'll tell you what, thank you so much for taking time to share your business story of impact. Of course, continued well wishes with all you're working on. What we're going to do is we're going to go to our second commercial break, and when we come back, when it comes to press and media and capturing some great stories from arts, photography, entertainment, and more, I tell you what, you definitely want to check this next one out. So stay tuned, and we're going to go to our next commercial break.
Doing good, but doing it greater. That's what Creative Community Solutions is all about. Connect with them for your education-based services for students of all levels, press and media services to help you positively amplify your brand, writing and editing services, and more. Doing good, but doing it greater is what they're all about. Speaking of doing good, but doing it greater, check out the story of Willie Blackwell. Make sure to find out more about the opportunity to serve as a kidney donor, but also just as an organ donor in general. So shouts to Larche Communication for sharing info, and let's help them make it happen. Ordinary women doing extraordinary things. This is what Real Women in Atlanta magazine is all about positively amplifying the narratives of Black women from the corporate to the community. Make sure to connect with them today, especially for our blogger and business community. Shouts to the Georgia Spartans for their upcoming events to Cab Art at the Park on August 14th, as well as their inaugural Dynasty Golf Classic on October 12th. Two great events for adults and more, so make sure to check it out. Enjoy the opportunity to support them today. Photography, video, short film, documentaries, commercials. Do you get the picture? If so, make sure to connect with Chris 10 Media today to find out more about how they can provide service for your video and photography needs. Your hat is your crown. This is what 1820 Hats is all about, with their customized line of men's and women's fedoras. Make sure to connect with them today so you too can live free.
Rise and shine. Time to get on the grind. What's on your mind? Is it how the time rewinds when you are flowing in your purpose, but it's worth it? I snap out of it. Get up, get up, get up, get up, make it happen. You're relaxing and time is passing you by. Time flies. Have you ever seen your idea floating across the TV screen only to realize it wasn't you? I mean, it was your idea, but you sat on it because you thought.
And ladies and gentlemen, we are back for our third segment, and I tell you what, when it comes to creativity, being innovative, you know, I tell you what, when people, you've already seen earlier, we're seeing it up close and personal. We got Whitney Code up in here from In the City magazine. Whitney,
yes.
How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Honestly, today has been a beautiful day, and I'm very blessed to be here in your presence. And yeah.
Oh, see, y'all. See, you know, we need to bring her back. See, we're going to bring her back. Before we get into the great work that you're doing with the magazine, walk through with our viewers a little bit where you're based out of and a couple of your moving parts before pivoting into what you're doing, press and media, things along those lines.
Okay, yes. I am based out in Atlanta, Georgia. I do a couple of things. I am the media coordinator of In the City magazine. I also host a podcast called My Dysfunctional Family every Wednesday, and I'm an actor, model, singer.
So you are like arts and entertainment and creative space like through and through.
Yes.
So let me ask you this. What would you say, was there a moment where you're like, because some people like, well, growing up I did this and did that, but what would you say was that moment where you're like, you know what, I really do have this gift and I need to seek out opportunities to bring more of that out?
I will honestly say I was in high school. But before then, I'll say middle school. I was dabbling in things, but high school is when I really figured out what I wanted to do moving forward. And it started with singing, and then college brought in my acting. And I overall just brought it together as I love covering media, like in entertainment. That's one of the things that really brings me joy, and is bringing others joy.
And I'm glad that you said that, because throughout tonight, part of the theme, and really for any other guest, it's been finding your passion, finding your purpose, what you're great at, and things of that nature. So here you are, arts, creative, fashion, presence, purpose. So walk through with us your growth and evolution with the role that you're taking on within the City magazine.
Yes. So ironically enough, I found In the City magazine while I was modeling. We met in the industry. And at that moment, Quadir Thomas, he is the founder of In the City magazine. We collabed together. And since then, he's been dibbling in multiple areas of Atlanta, broadcasting the major things going on, from music, fashion, all sorts of arts, entrepreneurs, and things like that. We want to shed light.
Wow. So it really sounds like when it comes to, and we know the hot phrase now is creatives, but
Yes.
when you think about creatives, like you said before, whether it's the acting space or the music space or fashion or what have you, this is really the role that that you're playing, and really what the magazine does is really focus on providing that creative hub and what have you.
Yeah. The magazine, it like I said it before, shares the light, you know, and it also brings creatives together, like-minded people. You wouldn't think to look in the magazine and see chefs. You wouldn't think to see music artists, mayors, you know, authors. Everyone in there. Yes.
Wait. I'm gonna run it back right there. Authors, were you dropping a hint right there?
I was dropping maybe 2 hints that you need to jump in.
Okay. See, you know what? See, imparting wisdom and knowledge. See, look at there, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes. Definitely going to just.
Yeah. So, like you were saying, really, when we, like you said, when we talk about creatives, like we already have some ideas, but you're really looking at seeing where are there other creative spaces, whether it's fields or areas that, okay, we're familiar with, to where it's like, I didn't know that. Like, let me ask you this question. When it comes to the creatives and the spaces you're able to cover, what would you say is one field or one area where people would be surprised that, look, there really are creative energies and tendencies there?
At this point, I will say it's not much of a surprise as it used to be, because when it comes to photography, a lot of people felt like it was more so people who it was a small network in a sense, like it was only a certain amount of people, but really a lot of people are in that category at this point now. It's very broad but small at the same time.
Okay, so one of those areas, like you said, would be photography, because it's like growing up, sometimes you'd only think of photography like, okay, when you do your school pictures, or you'd see
go to the mall and get family photos together.
But you make an interesting point that just looking at photography, folks are doing some really amazing things in some of these areas where it overlaps, like in fashion or in music or photography, videography, those types of things. What would you say would be what's one of the topics within the creative space? What would you say is a topic that you've covered that has really pushed you? You know how there's that one thing where it forces you to tap into hidden talents or hidden gifts? Would you say that there's a story that you've covered or a person that you've covered where it's like, it's pushed me to tap into other strengths, other areas that I didn't know I had?
I'll say when I've covered young generation of entrepreneurs, them stepping into their own entrepreneurship of having restaurants and having their cosmetic brands at the same time, and having their own food menus and things like that, and pushing themselves, that's made me want to step into other avenues that I have and want to broadcast that too. And it's eye-opening to show you that don't box yourself in.
And I'm glad you said that, because some people are like, well, I can only go in this space, or I can only travel in this lane. And not only what you're doing through the lens of the magazine, but like you said before, look, you're moving in different spaces as well. You've got, like you said, you've got the acting space, you've got the media space, you've got, like, do you see I guess it's a proverbial question. You're already moving in these different spaces. Do you see yourself, like, do you sometimes see yourself leaning more towards one space or the other, or does it seem like when you lean, you're leaning because it's that given project or it's that given assignment?
Honestly, I can say sometimes I can feel myself leaning more towards one. But when I lean towards one more so than the other, I feel like I'm collectively going towards them together. You'd be surprised of how many avenues are connected. in just like the smallest, mightiest touch. And as long as you're going within your purpose and understanding what you're doing, you would definitely collide them all. They will all collide. And that's what's happening for me, because like modeling, acting, and singing, they all represent each other in a sort of a form. And it's more so of when and how you represent yourself to those opportunities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So it almost sounds like that last part, to me, I heard the term stay ready.
Stay ready. That is definitely it. You have to stay ready. If you're constantly prepping, you don't have to dig like or be in a frenzy. I'm not ready for this, or what do I do now? If you're constantly challenging yourself and stepping in different avenues, you don't have to get ready.
And I'm glad you said that, because it's like you'd hear that term stay ready is like, stay ready for what? And then now it's like you just articulated, it's like, look, it's okay to have multiple moving parts or multiple interests, like you said before, whether you say they collide or they overlap or they intersect, whatever. Mm-hmm. At certain times they're going to come together. Yes. So kind of like, yeah, still hone your skills, develop yourself at your craft, because you never know where it can
or when the opportunity is going to come, because the opportunity, you never know who's watching you.
Oh, wait. Definitely run that back. See, now that's the old soul in you coming out. First it was LaDonna probably eavesdropping on my calls at the beginning of this week. Now you're taking it back to like auntie and grandmom and great-grandma. No, what you just said, I'm like, oh, fill in the blank. I know we're on TV and I'm trying to be a professional, ladies and gentlemen. But no, but please run that back again and really hit home. You never know who's watching you.
You never know who's watching you. You never know who's taking notes and saying, oh, wow, she's doing this or he's doing that. What am I doing with myself? And it's not to say that you need to be doing your very best for others, because once you're doing your very best for yourself, it will shine bright, and then that'll lead on into others in a sense. And then, like I said, you never know who's watching you. Whomever you're doing your thing, whomever may see you, they may bless you with another opportunity, because you are doing you and doing what you need to do for your purpose. So it's just, like I said, stay ready.
I hope people are taking notes on this one. This is like part lecture, part life, part like looky here. Let me tell you a little something. Only thing, I bet you have a rocking chair at your house, because you sound just like old seasoned vets. Like, looky here. Let me tell you a little something. So you've definitely been hanging out with the elders.
Yeah, and I want to also say, like, in the City magazine, for sure, like, we're watching a lot of people out here. We see everyone doing their thing, and we definitely want to shine our light. We have 3 major issues that have dropped. Our music classics, they're out, and you have name very music people. Hold on, let me slow down. Let me say it.
You're good. You're doing great.
We have very big names like Trina. We have Bobby V. We also have multiple other people coming into the city. We're based in Atlanta, but we're nationwide. We have bases in California, Florida, and even North Carolina. So it's all over. We definitely are tuning into the New York Fashion Weeks, the Atlanta Fashion Weeks, and we started in 2019, and we're continuing the ball rolling.
Wow. So again, you started, magazine was up and running in 2019?
2019.
Wow. So 2 years, just kind of doing a little bit of digging, a little bit of research. The magazine has been growing exponentially. And like you said, even though Atlanta's the base, one of the other operative terms is footprints. You've got footprints in a lot of these key areas. Mm-hmm. You really do. So what would you say would be on the horizon for, what would you say would be that next story that would be like, this would be, I know every story is fun, entertaining, challenging, etc., but what's that one story it's like you've got on the big board or you've got on the calendar that you've really got circled, like, this one right here?
Well, I would say, but I feel like you all should tune in into the app and find out what's going on. It's coming up. And we can give more details about the major stories, because our app that we have coming, it gives you different perspectives of what's going on in the city, what's going on in the next issue of the magazine. You can definitely tune in for that.
Okay, so definitely, like you said, the app. So wait, before we take our quick break or our last break, remind people the name of the magazine and the best ways to stay connected.
We have here our magazine, In the City Magazine. Definitely you can tune in on Instagram and Facebook at In the City Magazine. You can also go online at inthecitymagazine.com, and the app, you can also do that on the App Store on all forms of technology.
Okay, and there you have it. So ladies and gentlemen, what we're going to do, we're going to take our last quick pause and then do our quick recap. This, again, is the Conversation Corner with your host, the author, Andrew Snorton.
So I always go back to that, and, you know, I always feel that, you know, Lisa is kind of guiding me. Lisa is putting people in front of me that need.
So you have the darkness here. Every hat tells a story, because everything is like I told you before. Everything is faith-based. These hats have different colors. I would love for you. Oh, there it is on the screen.
No. We have been present. Alpha Phi Alpha, like I said, was founded in 1906, and we've been present in front of the scenes and behind the scenes at every important pivotal moment in American history since 1906.
Entertainment, business, community, and more. Join us every second and fourth Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on the Status Network, the Lyve TV channel, for the Conversation Corner hosted by the author Andrew Snorton. And let's have a conversation.
Shown on the Status Network, Lyve TV, and let's have a conversation. We'll see you soon. And ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much. So as we get ready to kind of recap a couple of things, and of course, see I tell you what, it is such a joy to be in this seat. Y'all know, but you just don't know. But before Whitney, before we have you recap a couple other real quick things. Remember, ladies and gentlemen, we're on every second and fourth Wednesday, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So for those of you, if this was your first time watching, obviously please don't let it be your last. And if this is your first time connecting with all the guests, please don't let it be your last either. Our next live broadcast is actually going to be July 28th, 7 p.m., 2 weeks from now. But before we close out, Whitney, I want you again to remind people, again, the magazine, best ways to be connected with the magazine, and if it's cool, ways that people can stay connected with you and support and encourage, you know, not only the work you're doing with the magazine, but some of your other projects.
Yes, definitely. Just to let you all know, In the City Magazine is definitely a platform that you would like to put yourself out there in. It goes all nationwide. You can definitely submit yourself on the Instagram, In the City Magazine, and there is a link where you can plug in, and there is a deadline, so make sure you tap in before then. For me personally, you can follow me at _codename Wit. That's where you can keep up with me and all of the ventures that I got going on. It's a lot to keep up, but definitely that's where you can find me. And yeah, hopefully we see Andrew in there too soon.
Okay, clearly the challenge has been placed, so, you know, yes, it's just stay tuned, like she said. Stay tuned. I'm going to get to work on that. Just like my producer's like, yeah, he's not his head. Yeah, Drew, what you waiting for? Yes, exactly. But again, thank you so much for being in here tonight. Yes. It has been a joy and a pleasure. And to our previous guests, doing great things out in Mississippi as well as Charlotte, North Carolina. Please stay connected with them. Any last things you want to say before we wind down?
Volume 16 is still out and available. You can definitely go and tune in and grab that. That is online. And I hope everyone has a blessed week and continue to push yourself to be the best person that you can be.
I tell you what, we're going to close out on that. So ladies and gentlemen, until next time, all of you take good care. We'll see you in 2 weeks.